Before children are fully conditioned by this physical earthly world, they are still very open to the truth. So what I wanted to share with you today was an interesting thing that I came out with and said to my mum when I had just turned 3 years old. Welcome to my channel, You Are the Bridge. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, please do. Please like or comment or share this video with anyone that you think might be interested in it. So I thought it would be interesting for me to share this because often my mum will remind me of it. Every now and again, she will remind me of something I said when I had not long turned 3 years old. At this point, myself and my mum, it was just us two, we lived on our own. And it happened when my mum had the news on. It was just the daily news. Bearing in mind I hadn't long turned 3, so I don't think it was the news at 10, but it was a news programme, a general news programme. And my mum used to watch it quite often, as many people do. Many people tune in to the news channels to keep on top of what is going on in the world. So what my mum reminds me of, and I do remember it, I actually do remember this myself, it's probably one of my earliest memories, and my mum often reminds me of it as well, is my mum was watching the news, I was sat on the floor playing with my toys, and she said the news programme was coming to an end, and it was the last story on there. Can't quite remember what the story was, but as we know, a lot of the time the news tends to be things that, let's just say, bring your vibration down a lot. You know, it's violence, it's war, it's murder, it's disease, lots and lots of things that really bring us down. And what my mum said happened is, she said the final news story was on, and she said you looked up from your toys, bearing in mind I've not long turned 3 years old. I'm very young, obviously talking well at this point. And I looked up at the screen and I said to my mum, none of that is real. And my mum wasn't one to dismiss things easily. She didn't dismiss me just because I was a child. She would say, what do you mean? What do you mean? Of course it's real. It's on the telly. It's real. And they're reporting on things that are going on in the world to keep us updated. And I said, they're not real. Now, I've always sort of tried to analyse, what did I mean? Did I mean the people weren't real? Did I mean that the story wasn't real? Did I mean that it just wasn't real in general? And my mum did say, that's interesting that you say that, but what do you mean? And I didn't really elaborate much. I just looked at her as if to say, do you not know that this is not real? And I just think it's interesting because she said nobody would ever have spoken to a 3-year-old child about whether the news is real or not, because as far as everybody is concerned, it is real. But the awakened community, maybe yourselves that tune into this channel, perhaps you would say that you don't necessarily think it's real news. You know, we hear the term fake, don't we? Fake news. And I think what we don't realise as humanity is we are so powerful. If there is a news programme on the telly, it may not have fully happened yet, or it may be the grumblings of something. But if we fall for something hook, line and sinker, and we collectively do that all over the world, we have the power to bring that about from our subconscious programming. So you might say, well, I know that what this programme is reporting, this devastating, awful thing that is on the news, I'm not saying that it's all fake, but, you know, I know that it's real because I know somebody that lives in that part of the country and they live there and they say, yes, it is really happening. But then you also get some people that will say, I also live in this part of the country and it's not happening in the way that they are portraying it on the TV. A lot of the time, people say it was set up like a stage with actors, okay? People have said this as well. So sometimes we get very different extremes of what is said about things. But I just thought what was interesting is when we are so young, children, we shouldn't always dismiss what they say, because before we as beings are fully conditioned by this physical earthly world, we are very open to the truth. We are very open to seeing other energies. We're very open to, we haven't closed it off because we're very open to it. We haven't been completely conditioned yet to the point where, we think that this is all there is. We think that the illusion of this reality is real. We haven't necessarily got to that stage yet. So we're still very open to knowing the truth. And sometimes you might know a child that has come out with something and it's so wise and it's so simple and beautiful that it resonates with you as the truth, even though it's something that we're not necessarily conditioned to believe. I think sometimes what we've got to do is, if a child does come out with something like that, see if it resonates. It might be something that takes us by surprise, but don't be so quick to dismiss, because don't forget, before about the age of 6 or 7, they're still very open to the truth of this reality, the truth of existence. Okay. And they'll sometimes come out with some profound truths because they're not fully conditioned by the world yet. So sometimes I think it's important for us to pay attention. So I thought I would share that with you. And my mum has said to me, that's not the first time you ever said anything like that. You used to say it quite a lot. I personally haven't watched news programs for about 15 years because I didn't like the way it made me feel. Let's face it, 99% of what is reported on the news is negative. And I think we need to ask ourselves the question, if we haven't yet, is why is it 99% negative? Many people will say, well, because we live in a negative world. But let's not forget the people, the collective of humanity, we create. We make this world based on what we believe to be true. So if we've got the power to do that, if we're all collectively subscribing to a program, because that is literally all it is, then we do absolutely have the power to bring it about. And 3-year-old me said, it's not real. It's not real. So I think what I can glean from that is, don't necessarily believe everything that you're told, because there was obviously some knowing coming through there. That's it. I hope you found this interesting. Please let me know if you can relate to this. Let me know if you've, if a child has come out with something and you think that sounds like a profound truth. Let me know what you think of about what I've talked about in this video. What do you think about news programs? Each to their own. If you're somebody that says, no, I want to watch the news, I want to keep on top of what is happening in the world, what I would say is that's absolutely fine. But to me, I wouldn't advise watching it all day long, every day, especially when there's a breaking news program. Some people, have got the news on all day long. And when it's not on the television, it's on our phones, it's on social media. We're all talking about it. Let's not forget, we're powerful human beings. We do have the power to create based on what we are told. But sometimes what we are told may not always be real or true. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.